Well, in just 2 days' time, in fact, by Thursday, the final report on the Adarsh Housing Society will be here with the Environment Ministry to talk to us about that and other issues. We're joined by the Environment Minister, sir. That final report will be out there. You are seeing the interim report already pointing at various violations.
Well, the interim reply that we have got in response to our letter of 26th October clearly says that CRZ permission was not given by the Maharashtra State Coastal Zone Management Authority. So clearly, prima facie, in the view of the experts, both in the Ministry of Environment and Forests and in the State Government Ministry of Environment, there has been a violation of the CRZ Rule 1991. Of course, we're going to get the final reply by Thursday, but it does appear that no CRZ approval was given.
And so, of course, now, already you talked about the fact the interim report talks about violations. Now, when you came here, when you joined the ministry almost a year and a half ago, you said that the Environment Ministry was seen as an obstacle, a place where perhaps there was corruption. You, of course, tried to undo a lot of that. Now, the fact that this permission, this letter was sent out, but no action taken for many years after that by the Environment Ministry, how important do you think that is?
Well, there was a letter that went from the Ministry of Environment and Forests to the state government on the 11th of March 2003, if I recall right. And that letter seems to have been deliberately misinterpreted or twisted by the project proponents to justify the construction of this housing complex. I read that letter now, a couple of days ago, and it doesn't appear to me that that letter was a letter of permission. All that the letter was stating was that the necessary procedures have to be gone through and the approvals obtained from the state government agencies concerned, which happened to be the Coastal Zone Management Authority. The issue is very simple. There is CRZ 91, Coastal Regulation Zone 91. Is there a violation of it or not? Will be borne out after the final reply from the Maharashtra government. On the basis of the preliminary evidence, we can confidently say that there was no CRZ approval given by the state government, and neither was any approval sought by the state government from the central government. Okay, so neither did the project get the clearance from the state government, and neither did the state government ask the central government for any clarification or saying that, can we approve this? So there seems to be, and it's not just a violation of CRZ 91. They have clearly violated the FSI rules as well.
And sir, now you are seen as someone who's not, scared of taking on his own partymen if the issue is right. Now, in this particular issue, if of course there are violations, as you're saying, they seem to be prima facie, what action can be taken?
Well, we'll have to discuss this once we get the final report. I can't prejudge the actions, but let me say clearly and categorically, there is no question of regularization, a violation of a law. I've seen, for example, some years ago, what happened to the White House building on Bhagwan Das Road in Delhi. I mean, there were a number of floors that were built beyond the permissible limit. The courts intervened and asked for the illegal floors to be demolished. And even today you can see that building with its demolished top. So I think, we have to implement the law. And I am very clear, there's no question of regularization. But what is clearly a blatant violation.
So in the past, in fact, your predecessors, there was a case of the Vasant Kunj malls. They didn't have environment clearance, but they managed to get a little, slap on the wrist almost. Perhaps the message from you this time that as far as the environment goes, you just can't get around it.
No, see, listen, we've got laws that have been passed by Parliament, okay? Now, unfortunately, one of the weaknesses of the Environment Protection Act is that the penalty for non-compliance is pathetically low. So separately, I will be moving to Parliament for amending the Environment Protection Act to give us greater punitive powers, to impose fines, for example. Those powers are simply not there. But I can confidently say that if there is a violation of a law, there is no question of regularizing that violation. We have to find the maximum possible penalty that, would fit the crime.
And sir, penalties not just against those who perpetrated it, but also perhaps officials who may be involved, who may have helped.
No, listen, this is not I'm not the CBI. There's a CBI inquiry on. The CBI will, establish cause and effect. All I am competent to do, what I am empowered to do by Parliament, is to decide whether a project, in this case the Adarsh housing complex, ran foul of CRZ 91 or not. And if it runs foul of CRZ 91, I have to take the toughest possible action.